What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone 2 Kappa Mode. Oh yeah, guys. So we've been working on these simple achievements, and I think today we're going to work on a more important one. Well, I guess we're going to start knocking out some of these creative ones as we go. So the first one on the list is to craft the creative energy cell. Let's take a look at that. Creative energy cell. This little fella right here. So in order to make one of these guys, we're going to need some infinity blocks, easy. We're going to need Lumium Singularity, easy. Solar generators, those are EMCable, so those are officially easy. Redstone Singularity, some Electrotine, those are all not bad. Heated Redstone, again, EMC, not bad. Chaos Ingots. All right, so those are pretty expensive, but we can auto-craft those, not a big deal. Creative energy cells for applied energistics. Oh, I forgot about these. Okay, maybe we won't be able to do all of this today. So hold on a second. Let's go back one more time. So we need 4 creative energy cells to make one of these creative energy cells, right? The creative energy cell for applied energistics. We need 4 of those. So 1 creative energy cell requires 4 creative infinite energies from magnetic craft. So we need 16 of these. And to make one of those, we need quantum entangled porters. We need some chaotic cores, infinity catalyst. None of this stuff seems that bad. I'm going to go ahead and get a recipe set up here. I guess an extreme crafting recipe set up. Oh, those are not EMCable. We're going to have to craft these. I think that is pretty easy. All the stuff that goes into it, except for the treated wood planks, is EMCable. I think we have plenty of creosote, though. Let's take a look. We have at least 1 drum full. Yes, we are going to have plenty of creosote oil. You know, this might be a thing where we look at setting up auto crafting for the liquids. We haven't done that at all. Have we? No, I don't think we did. So do we have the liquid auto crafter here? No. Okay, let's take a look at this. We're going to be working towards the creative energy cell, but we got all these other things to do first. So if we go to extra cells, there is this fluid assembler. So fluid assembler, we do have one of those. Now, if we set one of these down, we can take a look at what it looks like. So yes, this is kind of like an interface that holds 9 different items in there, but it doesn't do anything. You put a pattern in there, which has some kind of liquid craftable thing. Yeah, and then it can craft it, provided that liquid is on a storage bus on the network. So let's try and hook one of these things up. Let's see, we want creosote. Yeah, let's grab a drum of creosote oil here. We'll grab a bucket so we can make a pattern with it. All right, so there is a bucket of creosote oil. Now to make the planks, what are those things called? They are the treated wood planks. In order to make these, yeah, we need 8 planks around a bucket of creosote. That works just fine. All right, so we will grab 8 planks. Just like so. I guess we'll just fill it all in, get rid of that one, and put this here. So yes, that says treated wood planks. So we can do that. I think that's all we got to do. And then put that inside this fluid assembler. We'll stick this directly on the ME controller down here. Doesn't really matter where. I'll just kind of stick it right there. We're not using all of those different channels. So that should be all we need to do other than getting a fluid storage bus on a drum here. Do we have fluid storage? We have, yes, fluid storage bus. Awesome. All right, so ME glass cable. I guess we can put this downstairs next to the fluid assembler. We never did set up like a proper area for storing fluids. It just hasn't been a thing that we needed to do in this playthrough. So yeah, we never got around to doing that. So we can stick this here, and this here. All right, so now we have 239 buckets of creosote oil available on the network. I think that should be about all we need to do. So if we were going to make the creative energy cell once again, I got to figure out what it was that we had to drill into in order to make those. Right, HV capacitor. So to make an HV capacitor, we need, treated wood planks and all of this other stuff. Let's make a pattern for this. Now, I do see this requires lead blocks. I don't know if we have those available or not. Let's take a look at that lead block. Yeah, we have plenty of those, 2,000 of those. Steel ingot. I wanted to use, this stuff from Tinker's Construct. That looks good. Let's go ahead and make a pattern for that guy. Now we can put that in here somewhere. Right there should be fine. Now, the HV capacitor, the uses for this, that is used to make this thing. So that is 7. So we need 28 per. We need 16 of those. So we're going to need at least 200, maybe 300 of these HV capacitors. Now, if I tell the system to make that HV capacitor, let's do 200. It says we have everything but the aluminum ingot. We're missing 5 aluminum ingot. Are you kidding? Okay. Aluminum ingot. Yeah, we don't even have any blocks of that available. Can we get that from EMC, I wonder? Aluminum. Blocks of aluminum. That's from Chisel. Is this the stuff we wanted from Immersive Engineering or from Tinker's Construct? I'm not sure. Let's get this stuff. We will unblockify some of these, and that should be way more than enough for what we need here. All right, so let's try that again. HV capacitor, let's make 200. So it looks like everything is available. Start. Okay, so that is crafting those up, which should be using a lot of the fluid here, I believe. Yeah, it is definitely using the fluid out of this drum to perform the auto craft for this pattern that's over in this thing, which is pretty awesome. Okay, well, while we're waiting for those to fill up, I'll go ahead and get the extreme auto crafting recipe set up for making these infinite energies, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, so this recipe is coming along pretty well. We have all of our HV capacitors that we needed. We have all of our machine frames and all these draconic energy cores. Just EMC'd a bunch of these reactor controllers. The quantum and porters do not stack, and neither do the energy thingies, these energy tablets. So we're gonna have to put all those in by hand 16 times. That's gonna be kind of annoying to do, but we're gonna do what we gotta do, right? So we need reactor energy injectors. We need 64 of these things. We're gonna have to set up some auto crafting for that because I'm not interested in doing that by hand. Energy injectors. Yeah, so we want a stack of these things, but yeah, we're gonna have to make a few different bits and pieces here in order to do that. So we need reactor stabilizer, which requires a draconic core, awakened draconium, and draconium ingots here. So we need awakened draconium. Let's just grab enough here so we can make the pattern, and then a draconic core. One of these. Next, start, do it. All right, so now we should be able to go in here and tell it to make one of those. Cool. Can I craft one of those by hand? I can. So now we can make this guy as soon as I get a wyvern core. All right, so we've gone through a bunch of glowing mangaloy so far. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of glowing mangaloy, making all these draconic energy cores and these chaotic cores. We went through tens of thousands of it. We have to do a little bit more here. So if I do this at the right time, we don't have to go down there and turn off the nether star thing. You know what? I think we're just gonna have to go down there and turn off the nether star thing. Let's just turn that off. All right. So we'll be storing nether stars. We won't have to worry about that. I'll just have to remember to turn that back on at some point to continue converting that into EMC. So we need one wyvern thingy. There we go. All right. And to complete the pattern, there's that. Okay. So now we have 2 of these. We can just stick it somewhere into our system here. It doesn't really matter where. Right there looks like that's fine. And those are called reactor energy injector. So we need to get ourselves 64 of these things. There they are. All right, so that is going to use another 2,000 or so glowing mangaloy for all of that. My goodness. Yeah, we're going through that stuff like crazy. How much do we have in the system? We have 59,000. Now, remember, we set these up like forever ago. this has been running for like a month, and we've only collected, you know, 60,000, which is still a lot, but yeah, I mean, we're just going through these things like nothing right now. Hopefully we don't run out. So there is our stack of the reactor energy injectors. I believe those go on the 4 cardinal directions here. So let me just split those apart into 16s. Hold on a second. Go back here. This. All right. So underneath the reactor controller is the top set. Great. So I think that is pretty much it. We need the energy tablets right here. And then there are these 3 spots. Let's go back in here and take a look at that. I think that was something we had to set up a craft for. A laser focus matrix. We need 48 of those. We get 2 per craft. We need redstone block plus reactor glass. None of this stuff is EMCable, really. So the reactor glass, we get 4 at a time. We need reactor frames around a piece of glass. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's go and get these things all done here as well. So that was laser focus matrix. Laser focus matrix. This thing. So we need this, and that is steel casings around an atomic alloy. All of those are EMCable. How are we doing on steel casing? We have plenty. And atomic, we don't have any, but we can craft those. It's easier though to do it this way. We'll just grab a stack of those, and steel casings, I'll just grab like 4 stacks. So that should be more than enough for all of this stuff that we need to do. All right, so let's get back into here, do this. Okay, so there's a pattern for this. We will make 1 craft of that stuff. So our next pattern is easier to make. All right, so there's 1 piece of glass with the reactor frames. Make 1 of those recipes. All right, and then going back into here, we need the reactor glass plus that to make these. Redstone block. Block of redstone is what it's called, because it is a vanilla item. We'll make 1,000 of those. I think we made a bunch of those earlier in the last episode. But yeah, we've gone through all of that stuff just recently here. Let me grab 1 of those to complete this. Cool. All right, so now we can put all 3 of these recipes in here somewhere. Guess we can put them next to these things. We want this, and this. All right. So we need 48 of the laser focus matrix. 48. And we can do that. All right, so let's craft those up. Nice. So we can fill those right into here by splitting these. Whoop, I made a mistake. There we go. So 16 of that. Okay, so now we just need the energy tablets, and we need the quantum entangle porters. All of those are EMCable, but they're non-stackable. We could have set up like an auto craft for this using the Dire auto crafting table. I don't think it's worth it. This is going to be like a one-time craft thing. In fact, I might want to set up 17 of these things, so I have one of these, whatever they are, the creative infinite energy for magnetic craft. I might want one of those by itself just as a trophy item. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make 17 of these instead of 16. So anyway, let me get to this and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Well, I'm closing in on the final stages of making all of these creative infinite energies. Yes, I went with more than what we were going to do before. Before we're going to do 16, which should give us enough to make the creative energy cell. But I want to be able to have one of these infinite energies myself, and I want to have one of these creative energy cells just to put on our applied energistics system, right? I mean, we might as well have one of everything. And if we make exactly enough, then I'll have to go back and remake all these things. Anyway, that's not a thing that I wanted to do. So we have just one more of these things to make, and I figured we would do like the very last one together, even though we did the second to last one together right there, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, just a few more of these to place. Yeah, this has been very tedious. I kind of wish I was able to make a Dire auto crafting table. In fact, I even looked it up over here to make another one. And I was like, this is a lot of stuff. And I decided against it. It would have made my life a lot easier, but you know, it's just a little bit of clicking and doing some things. And there we go. There is our 21st one of these things. So 4 of these are going to go into the creative energy cell. So we're going to make 5 of those. And then 1 of those we're going to keep. And then we have 16 more to go towards our creative energy cell here. Okay, so creative infinite energy. Creative only. I'm just going to set this down as our trophy. There it is. So we made one of those things. So yeah, I've been using these two chests here, energy condensers for both energy tablets and these quantum entangloporters, because we need a whole lot of them. They don't stack. It's just kind of a pain to make. Anyway, so we need to make 5 of these creative energy cells. So these require solar panel 12s. Yeah, we know how to make those. We just made like 6 of those or 12 of those last episode, I believe. We need a lot of these dense energy cells, which require energy cells, which require fluix dust, quartz glass, and some kind of Certus crystal. Looks like it can be charged or pure or regular. All right, so we got a lot of those to make. I don't even know how. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like there's 16 down here. So that's like 30. Yeah. No. 28. 28 per recipe. Anyway, we're gonna need a lot of those things. A lot of these redstone singularities. White gem wafers we have on autocraft. Infinity blocks, we have those being spawned in. That's fine. Red gem wafers we have on autocraft. Refined glowstone we don't have on autocraft, but we can craft those up quite easily. Now, how many of those do we need? Let's go back here real quick. So we need 4 blocks. So we are going to need 20 refined glowstone. Refine. I thought we had those on autocraft. Let's go back in here. How do we make one of those? That is made with glowstone dust in the osmium compressor. I could have sworn I set up a recipe for this. Glowstone ingot. Oh, you know what? They're called glowstone ingot. Aha! Okay, so we need a recipe. Glowstone. Yeah, I was looking for something called refined glowstone, but it's not called that. It's just called glowstone ingot. All right, so let's craft all that up there. Do one of those. We'll tell the system to make 20 of these things. Glowstone. All right, 20. And it has to craft 192 of those. Start that up. And does it make those quite quickly? Oh yeah, once that gets going pretty quickly because we have that factory over here, yeah? This one? Yeah, that makes that stuff quite quickly. Harold Brand was here, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. Yeah, so anyway, let me go ahead and get the rest of the stuff set up for this particular thing. We need this reactor controller, basic gas tank, ultimate... reactor frame. We already set up the recipe for that, I believe. Let's see. Anything else in here that's crazy? No, looks like everything else we can do. We just have to make these solar panels, so we're gonna need 20 of those. Cryostabilize, that is EMC, EMC, that's EMC. All right, let me go ahead and get this recipe set up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we got all of this stuff together here to make our 5 creative energy cells. Was there anything crazy in here that we had to do? No, these wafers were all on autocraft like we talked about. We saw the refined glowstone. I did make a thing for the reactor controllers and autocraft pattern for that, but that wasn't bad. That's EMC-able, that's EMC. We had a bunch of these, but those are EMC as well. I think everything else, aside from these solar panels, were very, very quick to do. We did have to make, I think it was 80 of the mechanism solar panels to go into these 20 of them. Anyway, we're all good now, so let's go ahead and create our creative energy cells. We'll use one of those to power our applied energistic system. We'll put it right here just for now. Okay, so we got 4 of those to go into a creative energy cell. Now this seems like this will also be rather easy. We only need 1 of everything in here. Although these nether star generators, I was looking at those. We do have to make these hyper energies, which, as I guess that's EMC. We need the nether star generators. The transfer node energy is EMC, but these are not. The nether star generators are made with wither skeleton skulls, nether stars, unstable ingot blocks, furnaces. Yeah, all this stuff we can craft, but it is gonna take a lot of auto crafting. Same thing with these solar generators. Oh no, I guess these do have EMC. Those are gonna be quite easy to do. We need 4 of those. We have all these singularities available. Heated redstone generator has EMC. The plastics, these are things that we need to set up crafting recipes for. We probably could do that manually, but let's just set up a crafting recipe for this regardless. So we need HDPE pellet, 4 of those to make an HDPE rod. HDPE, we can craft those up. Let's just tell the system to make 4 of those. I can't remember exactly how that's made, but we have it on auto craft, so that is all we need to do. And then we could do one of those to make the HDPE rod. All right, and the rod is 2 of those to make one of these plastics. And there's the auto crafting patterns for those. We'll go ahead and stick those down here next to our other patterns we've just put into the system recently. Yeah, right here, that was our React controller. I made patterns for these dense energy cells. We had to make so many of those. All right, so there is this. So I think we needed 4 plastics. All right, so let's just craft up 4 of those. That's just gonna take a minute to make the HDPE pellets. Let's show here. Yeah, we had to do something. It was like biofuel and whatever this is. I think maybe this one. Yeah, liquid ethylene into these things into over here. Anyway, it sounds like the machines are done doing what they were doing. So we should have our plastic done. Nice. All right, so we needed 4 of those. We're gonna need these chaos ingots. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10, 16 chaos ingots. Can we make 16 chaos ingots? If it looks like we have these chaos catalysts. I don't know if we have enough stuff to make 16 of these. Let's just check that out real quick. Oh boy. Okay, so we're missing 1700 glowing mangaloy. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, that we had a certain amount of this, but are we gonna have enough? The answer looks like no. We need Neptune blue gem ore, which is easy enough for us to do at this point. We can just EMC for those blue gem. All right, yeah, just go and toss those into the system. We should be good. So again, chaos ingot 16. All right, we're still gonna need more of these Neptune blue gems. Looks like we need 11,000 more of these things. We need 45 more chaos shards. Those are pretty easy to do. We've seen that before. We have to wait on this glowing mangaloy. There is no fast way to get that. We need Erothium, the liquid, in order to do this. Probably what we could do at this point, since we're going to need a lot of that stuff, we could go back to the last millennium. By the way, I don't think I've crashed at all since I put our villager into here. So the villager might have been what was causing the crash. Anyway, yeah, we had Erothium cows here. I think it might be time to start spreading these guys out, kind of like what we did over here with our essence cows, right? And just make a few of these areas specifically for the Erothium. We really don't need our mana infused metal anymore. So we could put the cow here, and then we have 2 more spots, and we also have this tectonic petrothium, which we needed like just a bucket for something previously. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the next task, is to make more of our Zephyrian Erothium cows. We could probably put those into an auto spawner, put it on exact copy, and spawn in more of them that way than just doing the breeding that I've been doing. I might look at doing that. But anyway, let me go ahead and get this all filled up full of these cows so we can make our glowing mangaloy faster, and we'll be right back. So we didn't really have a lot of room to auto spawn in the Zephyrian Erothium cows, so I put it on top of our laser thing over here, just kind of like a flat surface. So we got a Tesseract or auto spawner on exact copy with a fluid cow in there, the Zephyrian Erothium. So yeah, we are only collecting these cows, and we also had our the monster essence in one of these ender tanks on the Lime channel. So I just brought one of those over here. Well, I guess I grabbed an ender tank out of our ME system and then colored it. So yeah, I'm trying to fill up my inventory right now, just full of these Zephyrian Erothium cows, and then we will fill up the other spots over there, like I was talking about. We'll be making this stuff a heck of a lot faster, and hopefully we'll be able to start making that glowing mangaloy a lot faster. Like I said, we really should have a lot of that. I was expecting that we would need more than what we had, but I didn't think they would actually run out. We almost had exactly the amount we need, but yeah, we definitely need to make that stuff faster. So I'll keep going at this for a little while, get these whole things set up, and then we will be back, guys. Alright guys, so with a little shuffling around, we got our cows here. We now have 27 of our Zephyrian Erothium and 27 of our essence cows. These essence cows we're not using as much as we were before. But yeah, I did move these around, and the way we have these set up now is we just have one drum in the center here on a fluid storage bus with the correct filter, And then, yeah, on each of these end ones, we have a drum with some conduit just pushing into our center one here. Yep. So we have that set up, and it's similar on the other side, except our middle drum here, we are not using a bedrocking, we're just using a regular drum. And it seems like we're starting to keep up. We're making the Zephyrian Erothium maybe faster than what we're using it. We do have a little bit of a backup here, a little backlog of the stuff. I think it might be time to head back to the base. I'm tired of hearing these cows moo all the time. Let's go take a look over here. Is this thing just constantly going and making the stuff? Oh yeah. All right, so we are constantly making this. This is constantly refilling, and it looks like we have a slight backlog. So we should be able to make the glowing Mangaloid that we're looking for in a reasonable amount of time now. I like it. So let's just take a look at this. We wanted to make our, Chaos ingots. I see these stars are jumping a little bit. It seems like they jump when I'm looking in the wireless crafting terminal, and when I get out of there, they go normal. So I think something in Applied Energistics or the wireless crafting terminal is causing just a little bit of TPS lag when I'm looking in there. But anyway, so we are looking for the Chaos ingots. We want to make 16 of those. So we are still missing about 1,600 glowing Mangaloid and about 45 of these Chaos shards. Yeah, and then I need like 11,000 more blue gems, which I can easily just put into the system. That's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I need to go farm these up, and we have to wait on the glowing Mangaloid, unfortunately. So it looks like we're going to have to wait on this for another time. Let's go back to our achievement book here. How many of these have we knocked out? We created the EE Creative Energy Cell, and we did the Magnetic Craft, Infinite Energy. Oh, this is Infinite Energy and Steam, so we did not do that. Creative Dimension, Infinite, okay. So we have a few more to go. We've only done half of this, so let's just take a look at the Steam block. Creative Steam block. What does it cost to make one of these? More Chaos ingots, which means we're going to have to make more of the glowing Mangaloid, printed circuit boards, these air canisters. Those are not EMCable, but it looks like that is relatively easy stuff to do. Creative Infinite Steam. Wait. No, these are the ones we're trying to make, right? The ones from Galacticraft, or I'm sorry, from Magnetic Craft. Yeah, these are the ones we want to make. Okay, so it looks like these are used in the turbine creative steam generator. Right, so we need to make at least 2 of these. One so we can have it, one so it goes into the next recipe. Is everything here something we can do? Thermal pile, those are all EMC. We can make the Chaos Catalyst, no problem. Superheating element, that's easy. Okay, well, let me go ahead and make one of these. I think everything here is rather easy. We either have it, it's auto-craftable, or it's EMCable. Let me go ahead and grit one of these together, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, and once again, we have the recipe laid out for one of these Creative Infinite Steams. Now, I did see that we needed 4 more of those to make this guy. I thought it was just 1. No, it's 4. So I made enough to make 5 of these so we can have 1 of these for ourselves, and 4 more of those will go into the following recipe a little bit later. So here we go. Here is our Creative Infinite Steam. All done. Awesome. All right, so we can take this guy and set, oh, not there. We'll set it right here. So there's 3 creative items that we made today. We made both the Creative Infinite Energy and the Creative Infinite Steam now. So we can mark that off our list in the achievement book, right? So craft the Creative Infinite Energy and Steam block from Magnetic Craft. Done. Oh my goodness. So we got both the AE cell, this one done. We're waiting on the glowing Mangaloid so we can do the Creative Infinite Energy. I'm looking for a spot. There we go. So I'm not holding something. Yeah, so we're just kind of in a waiting game right now. Again, we need those blue gems, but those are EMCable. Not a big deal. We're waiting on the Mangaloid stuff. Not EMCable. We just got to wait for that stuff to be crafted. But yeah, we made a lot of good progress today on our creative items. I like it. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.